Hello, TV Land. It is your boy, Freelancer Joe, ready to once again get rockin'. Man, that ain't might have the same pop that it should have. I wonder what's going on. Maybe I just didn't do it with enough gusto, which is unusual because I am so endowed with machismo that you would figure everything I do would be full of gusto. But anyway, it is a fine and wonderful and glorious Tuesday afternoon, and I hope you are doing fine and wonderful and glorious likewise, because I am doing fine and wonderful and glorious. But that's because you're here with me, and of course because I'm awesome. So, it be what it be. It's the same type of weather as yesterday, although it's less humid. Not that it was really humid, but it's less humid. And still warm though. Still warm. I'm really thinking maybe I should go ahead and turn on the air conditioner. I'm not sure. I'll have to check the thermostat. See what it is. See, but it's that tricky time of year, and while I'm babbling, I'm going to be setting things up. It's that tricky time of year, where it gets cold enough at night that you want the heater on, but then warm enough during the day that having the aircon on might be aircon, AC, aircon. Not the Western term for air conditioning. 3 guesses as to where I have gotten used to saying the word aircon from. Alright. But yeah, how y'all doing? Good and fine and wonderful? I had actually a really good day, just that I've been dragging so much. Because I probably only got at most, I want to say about 2 hours of sleep last night, at most. Yeah. No. Not sure if I was just really, really agitated from doing my training after having the 2 days off, or it might be the dietary supplements. I do know those have an effect. They definitely give you pep, that's for sure. I'll have to give a review on those one of these days. They're pretty effective, but if you are sensitive to caffeine, I would not recommend them at all. Okay, alright, what do we got here? We have my browser, Firefox, and we were working on the template parallax project, so let's go ahead and change directories to that. And you no doubt hear in the background a car alarm. Not sure what the crime rate is for my neighborhood, but I don't think it's actually that bad. Really what's going on is that the lawn care people are going around with the blowers, and somebody has their car alarm sensitivity set just a little too high. Alright, so we're in the directory, and yesterday, well, we were in the process of doing the upgrades, and yesterday we ran the installation script, just barely finished in time. But number one, we have to go ahead and update NPM itself. NPM being my project management software. So we're going to go ahead and do that now. It shouldn't take too long. It will ask me for my password though. And we'll go on to the next step. But yeah, even though I'm not going to say hurting, but barely keeping it together because of that lack of sleep. Now, the plus side of that is that I will sleep very, very well tonight. But I was surprisingly productive at work despite that lack of sleep. I actually ran into, I'm not going to say an interesting problem, but the problem that needed to be solved. Let me just say I do not like iframes. Those of you who have done web development will know what iframes are. And if you're like me, you will understand why they can be sometimes problematic. Useful and problematic at times. Alright, so was that the... that was a quick update for NPM. Alright, not bad. Not bad at all. Alright, so let's go ahead and run the audit fix because we know we need to run that. Now, this is weird because could have sworn on like the first or second one I did, it actually told me which packages I wanted to fix, or maybe I just did I did sudo npm audit to see what I needed to fix, and then I went ahead and ran the fix. Huh? You know, if I was trying to fill time, I really should have done that again. Oh well, like I said, I'm the sleep thing, a little bit deprived. Anyway, so there were two things that kind of kept me going today. One, of course, three. So one, of course, was that interesting problem that I encountered. Number two was because I was looking forward to giving you my sweet, sweet content. Alright, we updated, added 10, removed 3, updated 8. Okay, fair enough. And let's go ahead and start it up. And the other reason was that I was able to chat with my honey bunny this morning. You know, of course, not hearing from somebody you like for any extended period of time, your mind starts racing, blah, blah, blah. I came up with a number of scenarios, and however, one of them was correct, and that was it was an emergency situation. In this particular case, after work, she went to visit a coworker in the hospital who had just had an operation. And let's see, in the hospital, it wasn't the best wireless. So actually, that was a mix of two scenarios I had envisioned. One was an emergency situation kind of thing where somebody needed medical care, and then another one was technical difficulties, like maybe something happened to her phone or internet was out. You know, those kinds of things happen. I mean, I know I've gone some period of time without internet, so. Alright, and it came up great, quickly, no problem whatsoever. Huh. Alright, so let's go ahead and take a look at the console to see if, is it Control, I think it's Control-Shift-K. I'm going to do it. I'm going to Control-Shift-K. And it was not Control-Shift-K. Is it Control-Shift-O? Not Control-Shift-O. Okay. Alright. It was Control-Shift-K. Let's try that again. Control-Shift-K. I guess the window didn't have focus. Alright, let's go through the console, see if there are any warnings. None on the main page. None on double navigation. View 1. Nope. View 2. Nope. View 3. Nope. Double check that home works. No warnings or errors. External links, those still work. No problem there. And at the bottom, because it's two different code calls that happen. And no issues there. All right, this is a pretty smooth upgrade, I have to admit. Other than that first time where I had that InnoEnt, which is strange. And of course, you know what? It would have been fixed. I don't know. I would think that each project has its own node module library folder, which would have the packages necessary for the application. So I'm a bit perplexed as to why I had to fix it manually for one, and yet the other ones are working just fine. Be that as it may, it's working, so I call that success. So let's go ahead and commit those. You know what? Okay, we don't need this because we already did it. Alright, now let's go ahead and get the status. Get -am, which is just upgrades. Push it. Or maybe somebody's just really trying to get into that car. I don't know. And let's go into GitHub, verify it's there. Well, of course it's there, but of course the one time I wouldn't check would be the one time I wouldn't go in there, so we check. And this was pure parallax. 29 seconds ago. Alright. We're checked in. It's smooth. It's nice. So I'll go ahead and sign out of that. And what's the next one we need to go to? So go back one directory. Sidebar pure parallax is all done. Freelancer is done. Now onto my demo. Demo 1 might take longer. Let's do the Bill of Music School first. Alright, and let's folder, open the editor just to be sure. Well, not just to be sure, just this is the easiest way for me to remember is that I just start up the editor and it'll open up the last thing I was looking at. So why remember things when other things can remember for you? Yeah, you know, if it's not the dogs barking, it's something else. Alright, so that's all good. Let's go ahead and run the upgrade ship. I don't know if it'll... With any luck, it'll actually finish. Well, no, it probably won't finish, to be honest. So again, it's a song and dance. I think I kind of already... I was going to use a very crude euphemism there. I believe I might have already played the ace up my sleeve as far as song and dance goes. So what can we talk about? What do you feel like talking about? Oh, let me go ahead and turn this on. I have my Xbox controller here because I'm actually currently logged into my Xbox and into Destiny right now. My plan was to start it up before I started recording this because I thought there would be a download that I needed to update, but apparently it must have automatically downloaded it already, which is like the first time in a long time it's done that. And this week is Arc Week. Ooh, you know what? Maybe I should record. I might go ahead and record the Gaming with Joe episode today. Yeah, we might go ahead and do that. Oh, okay. Yeah. Alright, we might go ahead and do that. Since it's something different. Although, from the sounds of things, it's not really all that interesting. About the only content thing, I guess, that would be interesting. I mean, they're different bounties. So I guess that's kind of cool. I don't know. But they brought back the Thunderlord quest, which you would think doesn't really benefit me because, well, I already have a Thunderlord, and that is very true. But if I go ahead and run through it again with my maximum level Titan, then I will get a maximum level Thunderlord, and then I can just use that and not have to try to upgrade my existing Thunderlord, which would have cost me Glimmer and Legendary Shards and Planetary Materials and Enhancement Cores. Just, go get a new one. I don't think there's anything else of interest going on in that. And so that's Arc Week, which is this week. I don't know when the Revelry thing starts up. And supposedly they tweaked Gambit Prime a little bit, but Gambit. And they improved the drop rates on Reckoning. I haven't actually gone back into Reckoning to try it out after that last time when I tried Tier 2, and it was a slaughter. Horrible. I mean, I'm high enough level now, but even if I can clear level 2, it still makes me question level 3, so I don't know. Yeah, not much else of interest in it, to be honest. I guess the Springtime Revelry is coming up, so that might be fun, but after that, I don't know. I'm probably... my interest in Destiny is lagging hard at this point. Lagging really hard. I sort of tolerated the Black Armory. But this season, with its focus on Gambit, as well as a pretty tough endgame activity that, I get what they were going for. They wanted to make a challenging activity that coordinated teams can go through, which was really cool. But since I normally play with just random people, we're not a coordinated team, so yeah, that just doesn't benefit me. Which doesn't make me optimistic for the next season, which is Penumbra, which is supposed to have a 6-person fire team activity, which is like, yeah, okay. Which will make it even harder. I don't know. I'm actually, here's what I'm planning on, because I'm totally on board now with, well, Borderlands 3 trailer came out, and it hyped me up for it. Just a simple, pure looter shooter, none of this games as a service crap. Even though Borderlands, the pre-sequel, kind of mid me out, but even though it mid me out, in retrospect, in comparison to the games as a service, it's actually pretty good. So Borderlands 3 comes out in September. So what I was thinking is, I could go ahead and play through Borderlands 1, Borderlands 2, and Borderlands the pre-sequel, starting like now. And by the time September rolls around, I will have played through them all again. It's kind of like the people that are watching all the Marvel movies now, right before Endgame, or the people that will watch all of Star Wars or all of the Lord of the Rings. I haven't done that in a while. I should watch all of the Lord of the Rings again really, really soon. Not the Hobbit, though. Hobbit was terrible. Absolutely terrible. Very unfortunate, though, because I definitely liked Thor and Oakenshield. And I definitely liked Martin Freeman as Bilbo Baggins. And, of course, Gollum, so that's good. And Gandalf, Ian McKellen, classic. But everything else... I mean, don't get me wrong. I understand why Tolkien purists would be less than enamored with the Lord of the Rings movies, and I agree with them. There's definitely substantial weaknesses in the movies in comparison to the books, but they're still pretty good movies. And to me, they kind of, they came out for me, I guess, right around the time as the prequels were finishing up for Star Wars, and so Lord of the Rings trilogy supplanted Star Wars for me. And don't even get me started on the latest Star Wars things. I mean, I did enjoy The Force Awakens, but I think I've only watched it twice. And then Rogue One, other than that ending, where Vader was, well, I won't spoil that, but other than that ending, which was brutal and awesome, it was meh. And didn't watch Return of the Jedi. And the only reason I watched Solo was because it was on the airplane while I was doing my deviation from the schedule. And that one, to be completely honest with Solo, I mean, if you had just named it, random Star Wars character instead, and instead of Chewbacca, you had something else, it would have been serviceable. But it didn't feel like a Han Solo thing to me. Now, where was I going with this? Oh yeah, I was talking about trilogies and Borderlands. Anyway, so like I said, Borderlands, the pre-sequel kind of mid me out. And not to mention the fact that Gearbox is kind of pulling an Avatar Korra / Voltron thing. Doesn't really add to the story, so if people want a virtue signal, they virtue signal. Knock yourself out. I mean, this annoys me. But I mean, the opportunity to see Tiny Tina again. I mean, I'm going to be down for that, just to see Tiny Tina again. And to be able to actually run through a mission or something and get a loot explosion. Tons of guns to choose from, as opposed to Destiny, where it's like one. But yeah, after you know what really kind of mid me out on the pre-sequel though, it was the pre-sequel itself was kind of and then it was the season pass with their DLC. There's supposed to be four, and I'm pretty certain there were four. Two of them are characters. The Handsome Jack clone. It was really good. I never finished the Baroness one. And then there was the DLC with Claptrap, and that was pretty good, although not nearly as good as Tiny Tina's Dragonskeep. And for the life of me, I cannot remember what the third DLC was. I mean, that just goes to show you how meh it was. And coming off of Borderlands 2 with that Tiny Tina DLC, which to my mind is still one of the best DLCs ever. Now I'm actually going to look this up because I'm intensely curious what that third DLC, what that DLC was. Borderlands, no, TPS DLC. Hanson. Oh, all right. Ultimate Vault Hunter mode. Yeah. Basically a horde mode. Yeah, that really wouldn't do it for me. That would explain why. It's not like with the DLC they did for Borderlands 2. I mean, oh man. Well, I think what the Borderlands 1 they had the Moxie's Underdome, whatever, which was that Holodome, and then Borderlands 2 had the Slaughter Dome or whatever, which again is the Holodome. I never really spent much time in it because it was just me. I never got around to playing that with my buddies, which is unfortunate. Apparently, they played the crap out of Borderlands 2. I guess I got onto it after they did. I did get into it after they did. That's what happened. Because they actually never played the DLC for Borderlands 2, so they don't know what they're missing. Ugh. Well, yeah, I mean, the Cloptastic Voyage was pretty good. I think story-wise, the pre-sequel just didn't work for me. Because he ended up helping a bad man do some pretty bad things. It's hard for me to get behind that. Everyone had their motivation, but... Plus, technically, in Borderlands 2, you kill at least two of them. So, I mean... But there were four Vault Hunters in the pre-sequel, right? There's Athena, Claptrap, Wilhelm, and Nisha. And you kill Nisha and Wilhelm in Borderlands 2. And Claptrap's been a mainstay, so he's cool. And then Athena, I mean, she played a part in General Knox's DLC in the first Borderlands, and that was actually really good too. I would still put it below Cloptastic Voyage. That said, General Knox himself was a really good character. I liked him. I don't know. You know what? It might possibly finish. But we'll have to do again. We don't have to do the NPM update itself, but we'll have to run the autofix again. So this is going pretty smoothly. I wonder why it feels like it's going faster. It does feel like it's going faster, doesn't it? Or maybe I was just really dragging it yesterday. That wouldn't surprise me that I was dragging it yesterday. I'm not sure which day I was more. You know, I would say I was definitely hurting more on Monday. Again, from the after effects of the weekend, which was both regarding diet and drink, and then of course the fact that I hadn't chatted with my honey bunny, so I would be really dragging. But today, now it's just sleep deprivation. But I had the chance to talk with my honey bunny, so hey. Well, it's pretty well known what kind of motivation a good woman can give for a man. But, oh yeah. I don't know what else to talk about. Oh, yeah, okay. So if I'm doing... Okay, but I think gaming with Joe for now, I'll stick with... I'll probably stick with Destiny, at least for my content for a little bit. I might switch to Borderlands. And as much as I'd like to get into the Division 2, it's still a game as a service. It's just not for me. Not anymore. Problem is, at some point it just started feeling like work. It really, really started feeling like work. It's because the way they design it, from their perspective, they're trying to incentivize you to do certain things. From my perspective, they're trying to control us to do certain things. And that just... I don't know if I've said this before. It bears repeating if I have already said it, is that, you know what? You should play a game because you want to play a game, not because a game makes you feel like you need to play the game. And Borderlands did that. To be fair, the first Division did that too. It's just that they kept changing the stupid meta with the patches. Meta being, I forgot what, most efficient tactics and something else. The point being, when you have games where there are different pieces of equipment that you can get, invariably there's a set of equipment that turns out to be the most effective. That's known as the meta. The problem with the Division was simply that they had the PvE side, the player-only side, which is you against computer-controlled enemies, and then they had the Dark Zone, which had you against computer-controlled enemies and other players. And so, if the meta was unbalanced, then that player versus player side of things got really frustrating and annoying. So they would have to change it to balance it out. But all that would do then is for people like me who just stayed in the PvE side of things, was it would annoy us because what was working for us wasn't working anymore. And we weren't complaining. I think the last time I stopped was I had this really good shotgun build. I forgot what it was, but it was great. And you just run around just, shooting bad guys in the face with a shotgun. I mean, how could you go wrong with that? But see, what made it so effective was that it would stagger the enemies, so it was easy to follow up the additional shots. Well, yeah, great against the computer, who's not going to complain, but against other players, they complain about being staggered. So, of course, they took that out. So after they made that patch, I logged in, I was running around, I shoot a guy in the face, and he just looks at me and shoots me back. And I'm like, great. I was like, no, I'm not going to go farm for new gear, forget it. I was done. And they're probably going to do that with the Division 2 again. So, I'll wait until... I'd like to get into it at some point, but I'll probably wait for a year until the whole thing settles down. Because right now, my understanding is that meta is really messed up. Alright, so it actually all finished up. But we are at about the 30-minute mark, so well, I'm going to go ahead and include this because we'll have to run it tomorrow. But yeah, I'll wrap this up for now. Cool kid words about liking and subscribing, commenting, and suggesting. I hope you join me tomorrow as we finish this guy up and then move on to the last project we need to upgrade. I hope you have a wonderful day, and that until the next time you join me, that you take care and God bless.